Let's go on to the next person. Only send a guest request if you did vote for Donald Trump. Only send a guest request if you did vote for Donald Trump. Alrighty. All right, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you did vote for Donald Trump. Why are we on Dean's account? Because we're testing out algorithm push. Yeah, what's up? How old are you?
30.
Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yeah,
Okay.
barely.
Do you regret voting for him?
No, but it was a hard decision.
Okay, for sure. So I'm gonna think someone. Oh, what just happened? What the fuck? Okay, that was just on my screen. So I'm gonna thank someone, and then we'll get into the debate real quick. Dust again. Thank you so much for the $50. Thank you so much. I personally only have WhatsApp and Instagram. Are those messages secure? I've never had any posts or even a profile picture. I believe Rubio said that could be suspicious and seen as evading screening. Should I unfollow democratic institutions? In terms of what's it called, the particular like messages and whatnot, at least from what I heard from Matt, it is the case that like they can be still looked at. I would have to check though. I'm not 100% certain on that, so I would say at least do more research on that because I don't have all the information on that would be necessary. I think I'll look into it more, and I'll have to check. But yeah. So why did you vote for Donald Trump?
Honestly, it was a lot because I voted
It
Democrat.
seems like you're covering your mic.
My bad. Here, I'll put my AirPod in too. I've voted Democrat every single election up until 24.
So what changed your perspective?
So a lot of it had to do with Biden and not necessarily his policies, but things that were happening that he pretty much didn't do anything to, well, I shouldn't say anything, but he didn't address them, like immigration. I really feel for the people who come here. They want a better life. I get that. We're lucky to have been born here if you were, but there's a certain point where it's taking up so many resources that could be used elsewhere, and I'm not talking about, the money in general, like, oh, we should give it to the homeless people or whatever. Like the communities that these people are in, especially New York, Chicago, there's a lot of minorities that are American that got left behind from all the funding that went towards people who really shouldn't have been let in the first place, as much as they were.
So what are you saying caused the problems? The immigrants coming to the country?
Well, the problem I saw with Biden is that he really didn't do much to stop the massive flow, like unprecedented. I'm not saying it was
Okay, so again, you're saying
him.
so immigrants. What did they do bad to the economy?
Well, I didn't mention the economy. I mentioned the resources that it was taking away in all these different
That would be the
cities.
economy.
Okay, well, part of the economy as well. I'm not saying,
So there's no good
with how
evidence
big.
that immigrants were taking away resources. Immigrants actually increase the amount of productive resources we have.
Let's say New York, for example, New York City. They spent billions and billions of dollars putting these people up in hotels, giving them 3 meals a day, giving them phones, all this stuff that kind of money, it may not be big in the aspect of the entire economy here, but if we're focusing on the actual people in these cities who needed those resources. There's
So
a
you're talking
lot
about
of
asylum
minority.
seekers who are in the legal, they're going through the legal process. So if you want about social services that are meant to benefit people, right, then Republicans defunding those social services is harmful. Like through the big beautiful bill, the $800 billion cut to Medicaid and the $300 billion cut to food stamps. That's harmful, right?
So what exactly did the $800 billion cut to Medicaid go towards?
I'm asking, is that good?
It
In
depend.
general,
Honestly, it
does it matter? Does
depends.
it matter? Any part of it do you want cut?
Well, yeah, I mean, if there's waste, fraud, and abuse, I
So you
get
think
that
there's $800 billion
immediately.
of waste in Medicaid?
No, I didn't say that. I'm saying you. I thought you were asking, is there any good reason to cut any money from Medicaid? And let me just say something.
It would make sense to
It's
cut it. It
like,
would make sense to reallocate it.
okay, I could see that reallocating it to people who need it.
Yes.
I'm in that tax bracket where I don't make enough to really afford good health care, but I make too much to actually qualify for Medicaid.
Okay.
I have two
So let's
daughters.
clarify, right? We think Medicare for all should be provided for everyone. Do you agree with that sentiment?
You mean for everybody in the country?
Every single
I,
person in the country.
in theory, if it worked well, yes, but that's not what would happen.
Okay, well, I
Or,
can point to countries around the world that have universal healthcare systems that have better average health outcomes, and they have almost half the average cost.
yeah, I mean, absolutely. The cost and, better health outcomes, honestly, is not directly associated with having free healthcare. The stuff in this country, I'm sure you're aware that the food that we eat that's legal here, that's not legal in these other countries, our kids are unprecedented in how much overweight, diabetes, we're not really
You want our
addressing.
country to be healthier. So if you want our country to be healthier, we have to base it on science, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Donald Trump actively doesn't believe in science. He says the climate's going to start cooling, that science just doesn't know it yet. He put RFK on his administration, who actively undermines science, says that vaccines cause autisms, right? That's insane.
Well,
That's totally anti
let's
science.
talk about RFK because that's actually who I supported up until, obviously he had to drop out. But look, let me say this about him. And I would say this about anyone: Joe Biden, Donald Trump. Not every single bad thing that they do means that they're, a completely bad candidate, because you're not going to find a perfect candidate. And honestly, you're not going to find a perfect person in life. And, you know, you can respect that, right?
Yeah, but I think that we have a better candidate in Kamala Harris comparative to Donald Trump. I think that we have better
Okay,
candidates
well,
and practically any Democrat over Donald Trump. Sage, think of it
let's
$10.
talk.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
So in regards to RFK,
We
let me
definitely need
just
better healthcare. Thank you
make
so
my
much,
point
Sage.
here. Um, he is the only health secretary that has actually tried proactively. He's still new in it, so I shouldn't
Tried
say that he's
proactively to what?
completed this. He's talked about pharmaceutical, big pharma, big food. It's,
Big
no
food.
other people. Okay, you know what I mean. Um, I'm not like, you know, as educated as you are in politics or the way you speak about it. But what I'm saying from my perspective as a single dad who's got two daughters, who doesn't, I'm not able to afford all the organic food that I want. I'm end up, looking at these products at Food Lion, at all these stores, and I don't want to get it, but
Joe,
I have to.
respectfully, you voted for a guy that's going to make it harder for you to get healthier options because you voted for a guy that wants tariffs, right? You voted for a
So
guy
what
that
exactly?
actively advocates to cut food stamps because this policy, the big beautiful bill, is so fantastic and great that cuts access to food for plenty of Americans in this country. You understand how
Okay,
that
so
important that would be to Americans, right? And anyone who's trying to help you with groceries, that would be Kamala Harris, the person who actively wanted to decrease your taxes, right? If you're a middle class
so
American, whereas Donald Trump is going to increase your taxes with a big, beautiful bill.
so in regards to food stamps, because I've grown up in a community where I know a lot of people who are on food stamps, and half of them, at least half of them, shouldn't have them. They sell their food stamps for cash. They're not spending it on their kids. They're going and spending it
So
on.
cut them.
I mean, that's what I'm saying is like there are I don't know exactly who he's going to cut. I don't think anybody knows
So you
exactly,
want to cut
but
them?
yeah,
Because you know that will lead to
absolutely.
more childhood poverty. That will lead to children being hungry, going to bed hungry. That will lead to literally children like having worse development, worse test scores, right? That harms our society, bro.
I mean, I can see your point, but what I'm saying is I've like these fathers who are not even in their kids' lives, who have food stamps $300-400 a month, and they don't even see their kids. Like, I'm not saying this is a majority of
Rotten Tomatoes,
people who are
potatoes.
on
Thank you for the
food stamps,
$5. Thank you. It is very
and I'm
small.
not even.
This is a very small portion that you're saying specifically, quote unquote, don't deserve it. You're acting like this is a ridiculous. Like when you stereotype people getting food stamps like this, it makes it even harder for people in those circumstances who need it to get access to it, right?
So I wouldn't say that I'm
It
stereotyping
also
because I said specifically like a group of people I know that, and I specifically said I know this is not all the people on food stamps. So I'm not trying to be stereotypical about food stamps and say that this is
didn't
everyone
you
or
just
this
say
is a
people on
majority
food
of that.
stamps?
I'm talking about the people that I know, and I that's why I said not a majority of people on food stamps. I know people who
It's not even a
absolutely
large
utilize
type.
food stamps.
It's not even a large
No,
percentage.
but I'm talking about the cuts to food stamps. I don't think these, Republicans come in here and they're like, let's take food stamps away from the people who absolutely need it instead of cutting food stamps from people who don't need it. Or let's, as soon as Medicaid is brought up, as soon as waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicaid, boom, it's immediately the people who need Medicaid are going to be cut from Medicaid. There's no, oh, well, let's see. Maybe there's a possibility that there is a lot of money going to Medicaid that is not necessarily fraud, but waste. And I think you can absolutely agree with
Yeah,
that.
but you're not cutting waste. You're cutting people that need stuff. Okay,
And
you
like,
can't
how do you
identify
know
that it's
that? That's
wait.
not,
How do you
that
know it's waste?
hasn't
How do you know
been,
it's waste?
how do I know it's
Yeah.
waste? You don't think there's waste
How
in
do you know it's
Medicaid?
waste? Not you don't think. How do you
No,
know?
okay. Yeah, yeah. You mean, how do I know that's what they're
Yes.
cutting?
Yes.
Let me ask you, how do you know that it's people who need
Wait.
Medicaid that
Stop
that's
asking me
cutting?
questions. Answer the damn question.
You don't know. But what my point is, you don't know on the other side either. You have to look at it from both sides. Like I said in the beginning, I'm not a
Well
super
then,
hardcore Trump
what
person.
percentage do you think would be fraud? Very small percent.
Maybe 5-10%.
A very small percent. So why would you cut
That
800 billion, right? Given that you think 90 to 95%, right, is needed. Everyone make sure to, oh my gosh, this whole time I haven't put in my audio correctly on YouTube. Let me do this real quick. The whole time I didn't do it. Wow, that's ridiculous. Okay. There we are. Wait, there's audio? No. He's quiet right now. But I meant like I didn't change the audio for my YouTube yet. It was fun. Didn't notice the difference? Yeah, I know because I had it on. The only difference is my voice volume essentially comparative to theirs. That's really it essentially. Those pants are festive, Parker. I know, and it's not even December. It's literally the other half of the year.
Can you hear me?
Welcome back.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I guess when I switch apps, it cuts me out. How
Yep.
much did you say was getting cut to begin with?
800 billion Medicaid, 300 billion food stamps.
You realize the total budget towards Medicaid is 880 billion.
It's over a period of time. Jeez, bro.
Like, well, the way you were saying it made it sound otherwise. Like I said, I'm not super into politics. I came on here because I did vote for Donald Trump. I'm not saying he's the best candidate in the world, but I don't think Kamala Harris coming in and
Kamala.
continuing, sorry, Kamala, um, continuing Biden's policies basically is what she said on the campaign
Which
trail. Listen,
policies do you
listen.
think were bad? Maria, thank you for the $5. Thank you.
Specifically, their policies in the Middle East. I'm half Lebanese. We've watched, you know, tens of thousands of people being absolutely slaughtered, and they didn't do anything. Biden didn't do a single thing. Yes,
So
maybe
you
he
think
cut
that
weapons off for now,
I'm sorry
but
to I'm
no,
sorry to
he had no sway with uh, Netanyahu, none at all. Whereas Trump comes in, he doesn't give a fuck about Netanyahu, not the way Joe Biden does. He'll do what he wants. He's not gonna just, go with Netanyahu's way and keep the
That's
slaughtering
ridiculous.
going. He actually
That's
came in and
insane to say.
tried to make a deal.
Is that a joke?
Why is
He
that?
explicitly said that he wanted to go in and take Gaza, right, after ethnically cleansing the Palestinian people because he sees it as real estate development,
Yeah, but
right?
that's
And
not
then,
gonna happen, dude.
okay, wait. So that's what he's indicating he's going to do, right?
He's
That's what he's.
saying he's
Wait,
saying
wait.
fuck
Can I please
Netanyahu.
finish?
He's not gonna.
He's not saying
Yeah,
fuck
go ahead.
Netanyahu. That's a ridiculous statement, right? He's given everything Netanyahu wants. Okay, I don't even know what you're
And Joe
talking
Biden
about.
didn't.
I'm not saying that Joe Biden didn't give a lot to Netanyahu. I think Joe Biden gave way too much to Netanyahu than he should have, right? I definitely disagree with the pro-Israel stance specifically of the Democratic Party, right? But I do think that the pro-Israel stance of the Democratic Party is not as pro-Israel or as Donald Trump. I think they're both bad on this issue. I just think that Donald Trump's worse.
So let
So
me
in
ask
terms
you
of
a
the
question.
entirety of the Middle East, do you care about Yemeni children that are being starved and bombed? Right? That specifically.
Absolutely.
Well, Donald Trump specifically wanted to engage in that, right? And Joe Biden was against that.
I mean, the Democrats are the ones who went into that with Saudi Arabia, said that was okay. Let this go on for.
Wait! Didn't Joe Biden literally explicitly run on like getting us out of that, and then did right?
What do you mean he got us out of it?
He explicitly right got that to stop, right? He explicitly went out to stop funding Saudi Arabia, right? And specifically in their means of doing that because they were starving and bombing through like a particular
Yes, but
blockade.
that he didn't stop it, and he didn't
Wait,
stop
yes
funding
he
to
did.
Saudi Arabia. If you look up funding to
I
Saudi
never said
Arabia,
I said he
they
stopped funding related to that, right? And that's what Donald Trump supported.
Yeah, okay. I'm not saying Donald Trump's position is great on that, but Joe Biden didn't
I'm
stop
not saying
that.
wait.
It went on for
Wait
4 years that he was in office.
wait.
I'm not saying.
I'm referencing explicitly the U.S. right funding things into there explicitly to do that, right? Do you understand what I'm
Uh,
saying? He stopped the support that Donald Trump was engaging in. Does that make sense?
I mean, he may have said we stopped the support, but
No,
when
he
you
did.
send
He did.
money to a country, he's not sending it to Saudi Arabia's
But like you
defense
understand that
department.
Donald Trump would have continued to do that support, and more Yemeni children would have been starved and bombed. Do you agree?
In Yemen, yeah, I agree with that. But
Not only
this
that, but
was,
also in the context of Gaza and also around the entire Middle East. Donald Trump did 450% more drone strikes in the Middle East.
well, nobody's done more drone strikes than Obama. But that I still
It
like
was
Obama. It's
450% more than Obama.
so okay. I gotta go soon, but here is the main point of why I voted for Trump instead of Biden because I didn't vote until 7 p.m. on election day. I listen. So I'm half Lebanese. I have family in Lebanon. They half of them got out of the country, but the other half didn't have visas. You can't just get that fast.
We
They
should
were
make it quicker,
bombing.
correct? We should make that process quicker.
I mean, I'm not talking about visas to the United States. I mean to Cyprus, London, like different
Okay.
places closer in the area. But yeah, because the U.S. I agree that's going to take 3 times as long to get
Yeah.
to than
And if it
Cyprus.
was
More than
quicker
that.
to get to the United States, that would be better, right?
Yeah, I think that policy is better. So, I wouldn't agree with Trump on that. But basically, I looked at it like this. I can vote for Kamala Harris and continue everything that was going on in Gaza and Lebanon, or I take a chance and I vote for somebody else and have a hope that something changes.
Do you regret your
And
vote now that you've seen what's happened?
no, not necessarily, because I don't think there would be any difference with Kamala Harris. She wouldn't have done
So
anything differently.
So okay, so
But
so Kamala Harris would have explicitly said that she wanted to ethnically cleanse the Palestinian people with no right to return, right? And she wanted to take over the Gaza Strip and turn it into Harris Gaza, right? And
okay,
she saw
so
it as real estate development.
you're a
That
smart
was
person.
that her
You
view?
know that's not going to happen.
Was
No,
that
but
was that Harris's
she's
view? I'm just asking the question. Was that Harris's view?
no, it's not. But
So
my point
they're
is nothing would have
actively so
changed.
you actively just lied, said there are different you said there are no differences when you admit yourself right now there are differences.
Yes, there's differences like that. I didn't mean it in that way. What I meant is nothing would have changed from what's happening during Joe
So
Biden.
no
Nothing would
change.
have changed. It would have
Oh
been the
wait,
same
wait,
thing
wait.
as whatever
Wait.
Netanyahu
Was Joe
wanted.
Biden better than Donald Trump on this issue?
No, Joe Biden didn't even
Okay.
do anything.
Did Joe Biden have the position that he wanted to specifically turn Gaza into Biden Gaza, all right, install Gaza as real estate development for the future, right? After ethnically cleansing the Palestinian people with no right to return, was that his position?
I no, but I don't
No. So then
think
Donald Trump
Trump
clearly you
cares
can
about the
acknowledge that there are
people in Gaza.
differences.
Yeah, I don't
Wait.
think he cares as much as Joe Biden did about the actual people in Gaza, but
Oh.
he wants a win.
Oh
He
my
wants to
God,
say,
dude.
"Oh, I stopped that war,"
He didn't do he
and
hasn't he still hasn't done it. He still hasn't done shit. He's specifically advocated to go take it over. The way he wants to end it specifically is by ethnically cleansing the Palestinian people. And the
yeah,
countries
but you
around them
say, "Do I
specifically
regret?"
where the countries around them specifically wouldn't go with the ethnic cleansing, right? And that's why Donald Trump couldn't get other countries around them to specifically go through with it because he doesn't want Palestinians to go to the United States.
Yeah, definitely not. But I'm not saying that I regret voting for him just because of that specific issue. Once I hate to say this, but once, he was elected and bombing in Lebanon pretty much stopped, Hezbollah stopped bombing Israel. I cared more about that because that was close to my heart. The other
Wasn't there a
things,
ceasefire under Biden?
yeah, the ceasefire with Hezbollah didn't last. It only came into effect and lasted after he was elected. And, I'm not saying that wouldn't have happened under
Did
Biden
Donald
because I
Trump
think that's
get a
an
new
easier
deal done?
issue. Uh, what do you mean a new deal?
Did Donald Trump get a new deal?
You mean like did he create a
Did
ceasefire?
Did Donald Trump do anything to limit the conflict from occurring?
I don't think he specifically did, but he
Then
had,
why do you attribute
negotiators who
why do you attribute everything positive to Trump? Then that makes no sense.
I don't think I ever contributed everything positive to him. I think there's people in his administration who go ahead and do that. I don't think, he just cares about himself and winning. And I'm not saying he's a good person, but
Oh my
listen.
God, dude. And that's
I'm
the guy you
talking
want as
about people
president.
in
That's the
his
guy you want as president.
people.
Seriously?
I'm willing to take a chance on going back to that than continuing Joe Biden.
Wait, okay, so not to mention the entirety of the Middle East and how disastrous Donald Trump's foreign policy has been on there, or been over there. But it is also the case that Donald Trump's domestic policy is incredibly disastrous. Do you want to go through that? Can you name me 3 Donald Trump policies in terms of his domestic policy that you think would be beneficial?
Well, he's been in office for 3 months.
He had an
And I'm not
entire
saying
term. So name me 3 policies.
I didn't vote for him then, and I didn't like
Name to me
Trump
three
then.
policies he just supports.
His tax cuts in 2017. I don't know anybody else's taxes, but I have an accountant, and every year he gave me my taxes and my returns from the policy before and the policy after. Yes, he gave tax cuts to the rich, and it's unproportionally to the
Do you
rich,
think your
but that
taxes were
doesn't
too high?
mean we get tax cuts too. We
Do
still
you
got
think
our
your
taxes
taxes were
cut, just not as much.
do you think your taxes were too high under the Biden Harris administration?
No, they hadn't changed because Trump's tax bill was still in effect.
Okay. So then what specifically are you referencing?
In his tax bill?
Yeah. What do you like? And you also only
No,
mentioned
I
one
don't.
policy.
Yeah. Well,
So mention all of the
I
policies,
don't
then we
think
can talk
he's.
about the provisions, actually.
So his policy on abortion, his policy on cutting taxes, um, his policy towards the border. I mean, that's three.
You said his policy on taxes, his policy on the border, and then what other? What else?
Abortion.
So those aren't any specific policies, right?
Oh,
I asked you
yeah,
for
they're
specific
not. Those
policies.
are his.
Could you mention the specific immigration policy or any specific abortion policy that you're referencing?
Well, in regards to immigration, I don't know whatever you would call his policy, whatever bill it was, but he stopped the flow of illegal immigrants coming in. You
How?
can't deny that.
How?
He shut the border down
By doing what?
day one.
By doing what?
They literally, the border patrol didn't let people in. During the other administration, there was no, you can't come in. It was come this way, come to this place, get your papers, sign your asylum, you know, whereas now they literally put up barbed wire and stood there and said no. I don't know what policy that was, but that is what
Okay, so
happened, and you can't
what
deny
you're
that.
referencing under the Biden Harris administration was the state policy counteracting the federal policy that limited federal border agents' ability to do their own like job at the border. So I don't know what you're referencing. That's literally like the federal as a state violating the federal law. But okay,
No, I'm saying in
In terms of Donald Trump, there's no policy you specifically mentioned. So I don't even know what you're referencing. Like you're, did you say there was an open
yeah,
border
I
under the?
don't.
Did you say there was an open border in the Biden Harris administration?
I mean, open border is kind of like a politically, you know, it's a political term that tries
I just
to
asked if you.
insinuate that the border is completely
I
open.
understand. I just asked if you used the term. Did you?
Open border?
Yeah.
I probably used that before, but
Did you
well,
just use
no,
it?
I haven't. No, I didn't just say that.
Okay.
I said I mean, I didn't say that those words. What I said was that they were letting people in. Like, yeah, I could use the term open border, but it wasn't open to everybody. It was
Okay.
open to the majority of the people that got there. And I'm not saying these
Not
people and
even.
their asylum claims are bullshit. I'm
Asylum's a
just
legal
saying you
process.
can't let, I know, but you can't, we are not gonna, it's not, it's not gonna be going on forever. We add all these people, a lot of these people contribute uh, to the economy. They pay taxes, but a lot of people do not, and they take money from Medicare. They take money from these different
Undocumented
cities that are.
immigrants. Is that what you're saying? Undocumented immigrants do not.
That's not what I said. I said people who come in here and have legal asylum.
Oh, okay. So I apologize. So the legal asylum process, you're saying they qualify for all of these specific you said they qualify for Medicaid. Can you give me a single in Medicare? Can you give me a single source
Um,
indicating that? Because
I
you have to
mean,
be a
you can look
U.S.
it up.
citizen. You have to be a
I
U.S.
can't
citizen.
change apps right now, but no, there's. Are you saying that they have no healthcare when they go into the hospitals or they get in a car accident?
Anyone gets access to emergency care. I'm saying there isn't explicit federal protections that they get. There are state protections based upon the state that they're in. but federal
Well,
protections, I
that's
know
what I
I'm
was
not actually.
saying in the
I'm
beginning
actually
is
not
I'm not talking
familiar.
about the federal, you know, the federal policies or whatever. I'm talking about in the states, they were taking money, whether that was allocated one place or another. They sucked billions of dollars out of those states, out of those cities. If you look at Chicago, go look
Okay,
at the
okay. So
city council
if you're
meetings where they
referencing the
had.
asylum seekers, right, getting care, right, in terms of that particular area, one, I thought you were all for states' rights because you voted for Donald Trump and states' rights for access to abortion, right? But if you specifically want to reference these states' policies specifically when it comes to asylum seekers who are here on a legal process, right, I would just ask, right, why?
Say it again.
Why? What is the reason why you're against, right, policies for legal immigrants?
You mean legal under asylum?
Yes.
Well, I would state that asylum was not made for the millions and millions of people who came in on it. Yes, if I was somebody who lived in one of those countries and I wanted a better
So too
life
many
and I
people.
wanted a better,
So too many people.
too many people, too many
Okay.
people.
Okay. I have a question. Are you okay with
But
1 to 3% population growth per year?
I would be, but not through asylum seekers like
So
that.
so
There's
so so
people
to
who are
clarify,
waiting in
he
line
would
for
be
10
okay with. So to
years.
clarify, he'd be okay with 1 to 3% population growth per year, which would be
Me or
around
Donald Trump?
you. I'm talking to you right now. It would be three to.
Yeah.
It'd be 3 to 10 million, right? People per year that you just said you'd be okay
Yes,
with.
but
If you're okay with
well,
three to ten
no,
million
you didn't.
people
You
per
didn't add
year,
what I said after. I'm not talking about the asylum seekers. I'm talking about the people who have been. I have an aunt who's been trying to
we'll give them a different
get
pathway to
here
citizenship
for.
other than asylum if it is the case that you don't want to let them in through asylum.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I would be okay with that growth, but you got to start with the people who have been doing it I don't want to say the right way because that sounds, whatever, but they have been going through the process for years and years. I feel like those people should come first.
So, okay, you can make the process faster for people who have already been in the system. You can say that, sure, whatever. I understand, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't make the process fast for everyone. We can do that for everyone. So let's make a bill to do that for everyone. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a legitimate asylum claim,
Yes.
like they're actually in danger in their country,
Even
you
if it's
know?
not in that context, you'd be okay with legal immigration.
Yeah,
Okay, but making the legal process go quicker, correct?
yeah.
Okay. How quick do you think it should go?
I mean, I don't know like how quick it normally goes, but not the years and years that my family has been waiting. That doesn't seem to go anywhere.
So months, right? At least months or even less, right?
I mean, yeah, like maybe
Okay.
a year, I would understand a year, but 10 years, 5 years. And
A year is even
I,
too much to me. But like, here's my point. Yeah, that process doesn't exist now. Now we can understand why people come to the country undocumented to the degrees they do, specifically just for a better life, because it takes years to get through the legal process. So like, if we made the
um,
process go quicker from a legal standpoint, doesn't that incentivize more people to go through the legal processes?
yeah, I agree with that. And look, I told you in the beginning that I voted for Donald Trump. That's what you asked. But I do not in any way agree with all his policies or, think he's a good man. What I said is I had family who was getting bombed, and there was a choice to either continue what's been going on for a year or take a chance and get something else. And I would not say I regret it completely. I do think a lot of the stuff he's done in 3 months is dumb and bullshit and not helping people like me. But I do think that there are good things that have come from this or will come from this in regards to what affects me personally. And I'm not trying to be selfish, but when I went and I voted, I'm not thinking about everybody in this country. I'm thinking about me and my kids. And, in regards to, I know we don't have to talk about RFK, but in regards to the changes that will come in in the HHS job, what's been going on for the last 20 years are people who are in these positions are going to work for pharmaceutical companies and then coming back to work for the government, going back and forth, the regular lobbying that's been going on for over 20 years. And that's not who RFK is. Specifically, against that, among other candidates. I mean, would you agree that all of the HHS secretaries and the heads of CDC have either previously worked for a pharmaceutical company or went to work for a pharmaceutical company after?
How did we even get to this conversation? What the fuck just happened? What did I just talk to you
Uh,
about? What were we just talking about?
you were asking me if I regretted voting for Donald Trump, and I was telling you I
That's
took
not the
the
question I just
chance.
asked you. All right, I'm done with that guy. That's definitely not what I just asked him. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Ah, I'm 18.
Did you vote for Donald Trump?
I did.
Okay. What's your birth year?
2006.
Okay. What month?
October.
Okay. Why'd you vote for Donald Trump?
Well, I don't really agree with a lot of the things he says, but my family, I wasn't born in America, but I'm an American citizen because my family went through the legal process and got green cards. And I think that, like, the immigration now, like, I wanted to come on and talk about the guy in Boulder because he overstayed his tourist visa when Biden was in term. And somehow, instead of being kicked out, he got a work visa and a driver's license and a work permit, and he was allowed to stay. Some guy, like, why was he allowed in? Why was he allowed to stay? If he literally violated the terms of his visa, it's stuff like that. We need, like, the visa process to be way more
What
draconian and,
year
like,
was it? You said way more draconian. It's crazy. What year?
what do you mean, what
What
year?
year did this happen?
I don't know. I think he came over like a few years ago. You could probably look it up. I don't know exactly.
What was their name?
The terrorists that just like attacked that like rally in Boulder just like this week.
I
You
got
know
you.
that big terrorist attack with the guy with the Molotov cocktails? He
Yeah,
came
yeah,
in.
yeah. I
He
know. I
was
know.
an immigrant from Egypt. He came on in a tourist. He came in with a tourist visa, and he overstayed it. And somehow,
Wait.
instead of
So
being kicked out,
hold up. Hold
he
up.
got a
Hold up.
work visa.
Hold up. Okay. So um so then here would be my question. Hold up. I'm just going over it right now. Give me 1 second. Um
How is that
you're
allowed? How does that
hold
happen?
up. Hold up. You have to tell me, when did his visa expire? Is the relevant question. Did his visa expire under the Biden Harris administration or under the
Yeah,
Trump
I think it was like 2
administration?
years ago.
Okay, where'd you see that?
Um, I don't know. I just heard it in conversation,
You're
but
just making
uh,
that up.
well, Google it. Let's see. You're welcome to fact check that.
Yeah, I am. Don't worry. I don't even see visa written down, so I'd have to go check. Um, a lot of people are saying under Trump. Give me 1 second. Uh, I'm looking at PBS. Give me one more sec. Um, where's 16 Kuwait filed for asylum? Okay. Since his visa expired February 2023, it did expire under Biden. Okay. So, um, yeah, here would be my question. Why would you say that that's because of any Biden's policies? Can you tell me what he specifically did to cause that?
Oh, I'm just confused how with
People are saying
policy like
are you 16 years old?
no, I'm 18.
Then why are people saying your Instagram says you're 16?
What Instagram? I don't have any Instagram connected. Like, my profile has nothing. How would they know that I'm 18? I can post, I have posts from like AP exams that I can I can post. They're privated on my account, but I can post them if you want to prove that.
No, you don't
My
have
physics
to.
AP exam.
Someone said your Instagram's on your TikTok. Let me go through.
It's not.
Okay, just give me 1 second. Let me find that real quick. And by the way, chat, if I swear, like if I go and look and there's nothing, like I'm gonna start banning people that do shit like that. Like it's so frustrating. Like I'm like mid debate and there's like so many people spamming that in the comment section. If it's not true, it's just really annoying to deal with. What Instagram are they talking about?
My name isn't even Maggie. Like this, there's no Instagram.
Well, yeah, what Instagram are you talking about, chat? Okay. All right,
And
continue with what you were saying.
well, also, you're talking about the last guy, like how we need to make it quicker and easier. My family went through the process and we did it legally. And yeah, like it sucks. Sometimes it's literally just when you go to the visa appointments at the
Hold up,
embassy.
I just want to clarify. What did the Biden-Harris administration do to cause this?
Well, if he had an expired visa, then shouldn't he be told to leave? How did he get a work permit?
Yeah, because he was living in the country illegally. So
yeah,
he was.
So how do you get a visa from being
You're
illegal?
supposed to leave once the visa expires, but he didn't leave.
Yeah, and then he got a work permit. How did he get a work permit?
Where do you see that?
Well, he was working for like 2 years after his visa
You mean
expired.
he worked as an Uber driver? And
Yeah,
he
you have
passed
to
the
be-
company's eligibility requirements, which included a criminal background check, according
You
to
have to
Uber.
be sanctioned to be paid by Uber. You have to have like a W-2 or whatever.
An online resume under his name says he was employed by a Denver area healthcare company working in accounting and inventory control with prior employers listed as companies in Egypt.
Yeah, well, you need
So
a work
what you
permit
just said.
to hold a job.
Okay, I understand, but like I don't see what you're saying like the Biden-Harris administration could have done relating to this.
Well, they allowed someone to stay in the country illegally and then get a work permit and a driver's license. He
So
owns a
you're
house.
acting like
He should be-
you're acting like
he should be
you're
deported.
acting like they intentionally knew everything about this happening and they intentionally allowed that person to stay in the country.
Well,
Could you provide
but
me
the
any
fact that-
source of that?
Well, but that's what Trump's.
Is it just because they weren't deported?
Yeah. And
Okay,
Trump's
so you
getting-
understand there
they
are
shouldn't be
people in the
first
country.
place.
You know, understand there are people in the country that are undocumented that haven't been deported, right?
Yeah.
There are millions of people in the country undocumented that haven't been deported. So what's your point?
Just like this guy should not have been allowed to stay in our country. And under
I
Trump, he
understand,
would
but
not
what
have been.
Biden policy caused them to be in this set of conditions?
I'm not exactly sure, but just that it happened, and it shouldn't be happening.
Okay, so but like, how is that relating to the Biden-Harris administration? Soros, thank you for the
Because
$10.
they're
Thank you
letting
so much,
people like
Soros.
this slip through the cracks, whereas Trump, he's not letting. There is no cracks to slip through. He's saying no, we're not
And
going to let this
Soros,
happen.
I did not see that. Sorry, repeat what you just said. What did you say?
Well, he's saying like Biden Harris, they're letting people slip through the cracks like this, and Trump, that's not an option. Like he's saying no, we're not going to take chances like this because we don't know who's coming into our country, and it needs to be more severe who we're letting in, or like stricter.
I understand your. Okay, so here I'll ask you this question: if someone was held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman, right, and they were trying to legally immigrate into the country, would you let them legally immigrate into the country if you had the ability to determine?
No.
No? Well, then why would you let them be president?
Well, because it's not like when someone's immigrating, you have thousands and thousands and millions of options. President, we've got 2 options. Yeah, I don't like everything that Trump does, but what was happening under Biden Harris?
But
just
think
wasn't
of
happening.
it this way, right? Kamala Harris, did she do that? No, she didn't. So then clearly you should have picked her. Okay, that's one thing. 2, as it relates to this, you understand that if we have like harsh qualifications for people who are able to immigrate, we should have harsher qualifications for who's allowed to be president, because we don't think that all immigrants are qualified to be president. There are plenty of people I think should be able to immigrate to the country that I don't think would be qualified to be president. For example, children.
Okay, well, it's like saying, oh, like this person is qualified, like this person's passed the bar, and like
No,
this
what we're
person,
saying,
this
what we're
other
saying is
person
that you need higher qualifications.
But it's like the qualification for being an immigrant isn't the same qualification for being the president.
Exactly.
Like,
The qualifications for being president should be harder to get through, because it's a job that requires more qualifications than just being a citizen or just being a member of this country.
So he has, just because he has some like minuses that he's less than
Some
immigrants, he
minuses,
has
being
a
held
lot-
civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman is a pretty big negative.
Well, it didn't outweigh everything.
To you, why not? What did Kamala Harris do that was so bad that makes it worse than what Donald Trump did?
They allowed people like this terrorist to
You have no evidence.
in the
They
country.
intentionally allowed them. I can give you evidence Donald Trump explicitly
Okay,
and
but the
intentionally.
fact-
Wait, I can give you evidence Donald Trump explicitly and intentionally pardoned people who pled guilty and admitted to violently assaulting police officers on January 6th.
That's
But you
like
cannot
saying-
give me explicit examples of the Biden-Harris administration doing the very same thing. Not a single example.
That's like saying, oh, I had a kid in my classroom that was like starting fires in the back corner, but I didn't like explicitly give them permission to start fires in the back corner, so it's not my fault, even though I was supposed to be watching over the entire classroom.
What
Like,
is that a comparison to?
you're saying that they didn't intentionally like want this person to stay, yeah, but they allowed him
Oh,
to stay.
okay. Well, then I'll
anyway.
ask you this question: do you blame Donald Trump for Molly Tibbetts being killed by an undocumented immigrant under Donald Trump's presidency?
Sure, yeah.
Do you blame Donald Trump for the 65 service members that died in conflict under his administration in the military?
I'm not familiar with that event.
Well, comparative to the 16 service members that died in conflict under the Biden-Harris administration, do you blame Trump for those 65 service members that died in conflict?
I mean, if it was his fault, then yeah.
Wait, no, you said just because it happened under the administration, it's his fault. Do you also blame Donald Trump for the 14.8% unemployment that happened under his administration, or the net loss of jobs?
But see, that's like, you can take it, it's like making an educated guess. Like the people that were the amount of
Wait,
people
do you
coming
blame
into our
Trump for
country-
do you blame Trump for losing jobs? There were more jobs in the economy when Donald Trump became president than when he left.
Yeah, well, what about COVID? Extenuating
Wait,
circumstance.
are you saying now you can identify something else that could have happened that could have caused
so
it to
what was
happen?
the extenuating- no, wait, you're gonna let me speak, though.
Wait, no. Because now you're able to identify something else that would have caused this to happen, and it's not just the president. So then why do you attribute everything that happens under Biden-Harris's administration to the president, but you don't do that specifically under Donald Trump's administration?
I didn't say everything. I said this specific instance because, like, if you look at the numbers, there's an like record high number of undocumented like immigrants and people, like flow of people into this country, and you just can't be checking all of them. And then once they're here, how can you continue checking and like hold them that their status is legal? You can't, because there's too many people.
Well,
and
you can't because there's
grab
not a
them.
quick legal process, and there's not a quick legal process because Donald Trump called for people in Congress to undermine a bipartisan border bill that explicitly had everything Donald Trump wanted. It would have built more wall than Trump ever built under his administration. It would have capped the amount of encounters that people can come to the country, where it explicitly would have allowed after a certain amount of encounters for the president to shut down the border. Right? We can also mention it would have increased the amount of immigration judges, making the asylum process go faster, so that for people who are going through the asylum process, it is quicker. And for people who have invalid asylum claims, it disincentivizes them to come to the country through the asylum process, because they would just get deported quickly because the asylum process would go so quickly.
So wait, like you kind of lost me there, but it should like
Where?
it's not. Well, you said like everything should go so quickly. Like
No, I'm saying the bipartisan border bill that Donald Trump called for people in Congress to undermine would have done everything Donald Trump wanted. It would have capped the amount of encounters at the border on a daily basis. It would have literally built more wall than Donald Trump ever built under his administration, and it would have increased the amount of immigration judges, making the asylum process go faster. Everything conservatives wanted. It was a long-term border bill, the largest border bill in like the past 30 years.
Well, you keep saying that it like all these processes should be quicker. Like with the last guy, you said it should take a few months. I've been through it. It takes years. After you get your green card, you should have to wait 5 years to be a citizen.
That's ridiculous.
And it's for a reason.
No, it's ridiculous for the legal process of immigration to take so long, especially for people to be able to get into the country. Oftentimes, if they spend like upwards of $10,000.
Yeah, well, it's like it's there for a reason.
Why? What's the reason? Tell me. Give me a reason.
Well, because we want like the best people coming into the country.
How does that indicate the best people coming to the country?
Well, that's why you need thorough vetting. Like you need to research.
You do need thorough vetting, but given the age of social media and given the age of everything that we have, digitally speaking, you're telling me we couldn't do it in a quicker process? That's ridiculous.
Well,
we're the richest country in the history of the world. We can run immigration in a few months, right? Easily. We used to run immigration in this country through Ellis Island in days and hours. Hours people would get through this country legally through Ellis Island, and it was completely okay. Want to know why? Because immigrants were disproportionate. I just want to clarify. You want to know?
You just said Ellis Island was completely okay. Do you know that how
Ellis Island explicitly? I'm saying it was okay to people who are in this country who are allowing immigration. You want to know why it was okay to people in this country who are allowing immigration? Because it is the case. I'm talking specifically to people today, right? It is the case that they are disproportionately white. That's why. Because immigrants today are not disproportionately white, it is the case a lot of conservatives are against it because they want to keep a majority of the population in this country white because they're racist pieces of shit. And I'm not saying it's everyone on the conservative side that specifically has that perspective, but it's a hell of a lot of people. A hell of a lot.
I cannot believe that you said that Ellis Island is a good example of immigration. That's what
I said it's an example that people accept, right, who are on the right wing, that at the same time don't like the immigration today, because it is the case that this country is allowing in immigrants from all around the world, not just countries that have white populations. You can unmute your mic. I can't do it until you do it yourself.
Ellis Island was literally so bad because it was so quick, and they go, oh, you're pregnant, you're bad, I'm going to send you back on the boat. Oh, you look healthy, you're fine, I'm going to get you this way. Their standards were nothing. It was way too quick. You just passed the line, got like a medical inspection, and then you were through. How was that proper?
So Maggie's different than a lot of these other Republicans because she specifically advocates that the immigration even in the past was bad. Okay, so are you saying you basically disagree with all immigration throughout history?
Well, I guess in the Ellis Island time, like we needed people here.
Oh, okay. Now it's okay.
That process was not a fair process. It was a bad process.
Yeah, because we should have restricted people held civilly liable of sexually abusing women. Oh, wait,
Probably.
But you didn't do that with the position of presidency.
Well, because I had like slim pickings, man.
It's Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. What was so bad about Kamala Harris? That was so much worse than Donald Trump.
All the people that were crossing the border and
what policy did she pass that caused that?
I'm not sure, but it doesn't take.
Okay, so then why don't you blame it on COVID, saying that inflation around the world generated because of COVID led to more people immigrating to the United States for economic insecurity or for economic security? Sorry.
Well, maybe it did, but then Biden and Harris just made it so much easier for people. They gave them cell phones, put them off in hotels.
That's not federal policy. You're talking about state policy.
Well, they allowed it to happen. Trump's
Wait, the federal government can't prevent states from doing that.
Well, Trump is.
And those are asylum seekers, by the way. No, wait, where? How? And wait, I thought he was so pro states' rights.
Well, he's stopping all of the people coming in.
You're saying he's limiting all of the states from providing social services to asylum seekers?
I did not say that at all. I just said he's limiting people
That's
coming
exactly
in.
what you were just referring to. But
No, I did not say that every single state is limiting at like their resources for asylum seekers. I just said he's stopping the people coming in. And he's like tightening up on like keeping track of all the people that we do have here. Because as of right now, we have so many undocumented people that we just have no idea who's in our country. And that's not a way to run a country.
I feel like, can you tell me like what my response would be to that?
Like, we probably pull the line, like, if they're not violent and they haven't done anything wrong, then, like, why is it so bad that they're here? But it's just the fact that they, like, if they're here and we don't, like, have them with status, then how can we...
Here's my response to this. You need to listen, right?
Yeah.
My response to this is that if we made the legal process go quicker, there are less people going through the undocumented process. Therefore, we know who more people are. If you also want to know who more people are, listen, hold up. If you also want to know where more people are, right? Because Republicans limit policy. If you also want to know, limit people specifically from that to go more through the legal process, well, we can also give a pathway to citizenship for people who are in the country who have not committed a violent crime or bad crime.
Yeah, well, but how do we know that they should, like that guy with the Molotov cocktails? Like, we let him in and then he did that. Like,
okay, so people can come to the country and they can commit violent crimes, and we would, in that circumstance, then put them in prison. In the same way any other citizen we would put them in prison. Did you know undocumented immigrants and documented immigrants are less likely to commit violent crimes and normal crimes than natural-born U.S. citizens? Did you know that? So why are you attributing this greater likelihood of immigrants or undocumented immigrants coming to the country to commit crimes?
well, if you come in even with a tourist visa and then overstay it, that's technically a crime. So you are a criminal. And if you commit crimes like that, then what's to say you're not going to continue committing crimes?
You know who's also a criminal? Take a guess. The person you fucking voted for, the person you're supporting right now is a criminal, a convicted criminal held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman. Given the same set of conditions for an immigrant trying to get into the country, you wouldn't let them in the country, but you want him to be president of the United States. Would you let Kamala Harris into the country? Yes. There's nothing about Kamala Harris that would mean you would disallow her from the country. But there are things about Donald Trump that would mean that you would disallow him from the country. So why is it the case that you want him as president and not her, given it is the case that you would allow her to be a citizen, but not him?
I don't know, man. Just something I guess I got to live with at night.
Hypocrisy. That's what it is. Hypocrisy. That's just hypocrisy. You have no reason. You have no good evidence. You have no good position. It's just hypocrisy.
Well, it's just the fact that that's like it's not like actually affecting like how he's running the country. But
being held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman doesn't affect his ability to, potentially pass policy that could harm women. Or like, specifically people, like him.
Like literally everyone in DC is like some kind of like nasty man.
Oh, really? So Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris is a nasty man? No, she's not. She's not at all. So please tell me how you're going to particularly portray her as that when it is the case that Donald Trump literally is that and you voted for him over Kamala Harris.
I'm just saying, like, it's like everyone's a nasty man, so it's not that big of a deal.
What?
Like,
everyone is not a nasty man. What?
A lot of people, like, there's a lot of gross people that, like, politicians that do all that, like, sexually abuse women.
Yeah, and they shouldn't be politicians. They shouldn't be in positions of power.
Well,
they should be in prison. Yeah, they should be in prison. They shouldn't be in positions of power.
Well,
they shouldn't. Our kids damn well shouldn't be looking up to them. They should be behind bars, and that's exactly where Donald Trump should be. Yet you still continue to support him, even though you can acknowledge that people in the country, young children especially, are going to look up to Donald Trump. Are going to think that this behavior is more acceptable because the president got away with it, because the president still got into a position of power, even though this is true. So that's what you've made true in this country. You've made it true that now we live in a country that is more accepting of this behavior, instead of standing on our fucking values that we should have, that sexually abusing women is bad, and that we should believe women, right, who have been sexually abused, who have held their abusers accountable in a civil court with a unanimous decision from a jury. If you don't believe women who have met that set of conditions of holding their abusers accountable unanimously amongst a jury of 9 people, right, then you won't believe practically any women who have been assaulted.
We believe it, and that's why he got convicted, because like
you believe it, yet you still
believe.
support him. You believe that he raped a woman, yet you still support him. Is that your view?
Well, I mean, like, you keep saying he should be in jail. The court didn't think he should be in jail. So then
no. The reason why that's not what the court said. The court was in a civil court, and the reason why it wasn't in a criminal court was because of statute of limitations, meaning it's been too many years since the event happened that they couldn't try it in a criminal court. But that's a really fucked up law, because this is the case that most essay victims take many years to come out. Hell of a lot more than the 5 years that they specifically allowed, right, in the context of New York specifically to hold them accountable in a criminal court. And that's why specifically things like the Adult Survivors Act and the Child Survivors Act in the context of New York for civil cases extended the statute of limitations specifically for civil courts that allowed thousands of other victims, specifically in the context of New York, children and adults, to hold their abusers accountable for the vile and disgusting things that they did to them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can keep arguing about this forever. It's not like
it's not about arguing about this is forever. It's about you acknowledging the guy you support is a horrible guy and you shouldn't support him.
Well,
and you can actively right now admit that, and we'll accept you. We seriously, genuinely, we will accept you as we will
be accepted by you.
I'm saying liberals will accept you, given that you acknowledge that you supported him wrongly, that you shouldn't have supported him, that you changed your mind on things. In the same way that liberals have accepted me. I used to be a Trump supporter. I grew up in a conservative Christian household. In high school, I was one of the only Trump supporters at my school, at a liberal high school. Okay?
Why would I be concerned about being accepted?
I've changed my mind, and I think you can change your mind as well. I think you should watch back this conversation. I think you should engage with these conversational points, because if you're willing to accept a person held civilly liable of sexual abuse of a woman that you literally believe raped a woman over Kamala Harris, just because it is the case that you disagree with her immigration policy, that you can't even mention specifically what it is, right? There's an issue.
Like I said before, I don't like everything he does. And yes, I think that's terrible and disgusting. And in a perfect world, I would not vote for somebody who's been civilly held liable of all that and whatever.
You don't need to be in a perfect world. It's Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump in the previous election. You should at least be able to regret your vote for Donald Trump and realize that Kamala Harris would have been a better option than Donald Trump, so that in future elections, so that when we get to that point, when we get to the primaries, you don't support horrible candidates like Donald Trump.
Yeah, but just because he did a horrible thing in his personal life doesn't mean that that's gonna.
Okay, I'll ask you this question: if Donald Trump raped a child, would you? Oh, okay. If Donald Trump raped a child, would you still have voted for him over Kamala Harris?
Well, if Kamala continued the country the way Biden did, then it's not the way I want the country to go. I want the country to turn around. I didn't even.
So tell me that answer. You'd still vote for Donald Trump if he raped a child?
Sorry, I wasn't really listening to the question. No, not if you raped a child.
Okay, so you believe that he raped a woman. The only difference between these two scenarios is the age of the victim. You're saying that it's not excessively bad to rape a woman insofar as that you wouldn't vote for him, but it is excessively bad to rape a child insofar as you wouldn't vote for him? I say this. It's excessively bad in both scenarios, that you shouldn't have voted for either, and you should have voted for Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris didn't do those things. That is disgusting and despicable, right? Rape is bad in all circumstances, right? And you should be able to say it's excessively bad insofar as that you shouldn't vote for someone, especially given the case that the other candidate hasn't done that.
So what if it was Trump versus me? Because I've never raped anyone. You think I should be president just because he's raped someone and I haven't?
Yes. Genuinely. I would
pick you. That's silly.
No, it's not. I would pick you over Donald Trump. I'm serious.
What if I was just wanted to be a dictator and had terrible policy just because I haven't raped someone?
Donald Trump said he wants to be a dictator on day one. Donald Trump is a wannabe dictator. If he could be a dictator, he would be a dictator. Donald Trump brought up being in a third term and only went back on it because of the backlash that he got from his own side.
Yeah.
He's a wannabe dictator. So you're going to bring up all these things about what if a candidate was like this? Well, it's probably fucking true about Trump. He's so despicably bad as a fucking human being. He's villainously bad that anything you fucking bring up, try. He's probably fucking done it. I'm serious.
Probably.
If you're a Christian, he's violated practically every one of the 10 commandments. If you're a Republican and you have core values, he's practically violated every single one of those. He's a horrible human being. And that horrible human being carries over into the policy that they support.
You know, one thing I do like,
the position of presidency and character is incredibly important. We want the president to have good character because what are they going to do in situations where there is the case that they have to either put their ego or their morals first? Are they going to put their ego or their morals first? Donald Trump, every single time, he'll put his ego first. He'll put himself first. You know what? That's not what we want for the country. That's not what we want for the country. We want people that put their morals first. And until you vote for people who are more likely to put their morals first rather than their ego first, we're going to continue to get politicians like Donald Trump that continuously put their ego first and exemplify every bad characteristic of old-time politicians that he claimed he wasn't of. And he claimed that he was so anti-establishment and anti when he was originally running in 2016. Oh, he's not the typical politician. Yeah, that's ridiculous. He exemplifies everything bad that we see in old politicians that we typically are not happy about within the political realm, right? And people act like just because he's a different font on it, just because the font's orange, right? It makes it okay.
Leading with morals doesn't get you to win, though. Like, Trump is a winner because he leads with his ego, and he's big and he's confident, and he's like, nah, I don't care. I'm going to, like, win. I'm going to take what I want.
Yeah, but he takes his ego too far where it becomes a flaw. So having some level of, there's golden values for certain characteristics, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, what do you mean by golden values?
You can be confident, but you can also be overly confident where it becomes egotistical, right? So the point that we're saying is that there's a golden mean of plenty of these characteristics where you want some of it, but you don't want it so much where it becomes too much, right? And Donald Trump has these characteristics, but at the point where it's so much, where it's so bad that you don't want it.
Like, give me an example.
Incredibly narcissistic, self-serving. He cares way more about himself and about his rich buddies than he cares about the American people.
So how does that, like, how is him leading with his ego? Give me an example.
Yeah, the big beautiful bill. The big beautiful bill. It will add trillions of dollars to the debt while cutting $800 billion for Medicaid, right? And $300 billion for food stamps, right? Along with massive tax breaks for millionaires and billionaires, while increasing taxes for the bottom 80% of the country, disproportionately negatively impacting you as the lower the income you gets. The lower the income you have, I mean.
That seems pretty backwards.
What do you mean?
Like, his policy seems backwards to me.
Yeah, it does, right? It seems backwards, but that's the guy that you supported. Because you didn't do the research, because you didn't know this was what his policy was, it led to you supporting a candidate that you see as harmful, given that you have the information now. And that's why I think these lives are so important. These conversations are so important, is to get that information out there, because a lot of people don't know this information and they wouldn't have supported it given that they knew the information. And I think that's probably true about you. You just haven't heard a lot of the information, right? In most circumstances.
I don't know. I still wouldn't say that I regret my vote. Like, just
but you're moving closer to that, right? Given the information that you have now.
Like, what about all the free handouts under Biden, Trump,
under Donald Trump to massive millionaires and billionaires?
Biden, Harris.
Well, they didn't give out free handouts. Did you know that Donald Trump signed off on more debt-related spending, $8.4 trillion overall, $4.8 trillion non-COVID related, comparative to the Biden-Harris administration, $4.3 trillion overall, $2.2 trillion non-COVID related. Hell, there would be more debt-related spending from the big, beautiful bill that Donald Trump's about to pass than the entirety of non-COVID related debt spending that was signed into law under the Biden-Harris administration.
Well, I'm thinking of a specific example. My dad works a lot with the rural redneck farming community, and they're really ruby red. But the farmers, for the longest times, they've been able to just coast off of so much government funding and government handouts. And now that Trump has come in, he's axed it all, and all these people that supported him are like, wait, you just took away all my free money.
Oh, so you just said he hurt farmers, right?
Yeah, but it's
So you think that's good? You think that's good?
I think that the farmers need to realize that they need to stop freeloading off the government.
Oh, okay. So fuck subsidizing food so that we can have better conditions for the people who are feeding us, right? Instead, you're you know what? Fuck them. Let's cause shortages. Because who makes our food? Or wait, no. Oh no. We're gonna get, you know, instead of getting the food from farmers here in America, let's get the food from other countries around the world. Oh wait, Donald Trump put a tariff on the countries from other, you know, countries around the world. So now those goods are more expensive. Fuck, what do we do?
That's the whole point, is that the farmers, they don't need these, like, all
Yes,
these
they
handouts
do.
that they were
Yes, they
getting.
do. That causes an increase in the supply of agricultural goods in the United States available to American consumers. That helps American farmers. You're saying you want to harm American farmers?
It doesn't though. Like I've
It literally
my
does.
Dad works with the farming community.
Wait.
Like,
You just denied, right? You just denied the supply curve. As it is the case that there's a higher price for a good, you deny that there's a greater supply.
what?
Yeah, there is more quantity supplied, given that there's a higher price. If you subsidize, right, farmers, that means they get more, a higher price for each good, meaning that they are now incentivized to produce more goods and distribute more goods. That's how the market functions. That's basic
they're,
economics.
like,
Economics
There's
101.
more handouts beyond that they were getting. They were just getting like free
What
money.
handouts specifically do you disagree with? Hopefully, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it for the 20 schmeckles. Thank you.
I guess I'm getting a bit ahead of myself because I don't know specifically, but it's just
You don't know anything? You were just saying it was? Sage,
Well,
thank you for the
I
$5.
mean,
Thank you so much.
that is the way that it is.
Sage said,
but
I also live in the farming community. I want her to get out there 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, starting at sunrise.
yeah, I would
You
do
would?
real work. Yeah.
Why don't you? Go ahead. Then you won't
I
be
mean, it's
yapping
not-
on the internet spreading misinformation.
Well, what have I like misinformed you about?
I think you,
haven't been
you know
wrong.
what, Maggie, I think you should go back and watch this video on my YouTube channel, this live stream of me debating you. And I want you to count the times you did that.
I didn't though. Like, tell me what I
Okay,
lied about.
well, I want you to go back. I don't want to tell you. I want you to go watch it for yourself. Because that would just be so much that would just be so much better for you to go back and watch it yourself and to see yourself doing it.
Nah. It's the MAGA mindset. I can't learn from myself.
Alphabet, thank you for the $2. You can learn. You're just stuck in a hole right now where you're not allowing yourself to learn because of your cult-like mentality in support of Donald Trump. Like I genuinely think that's true. Like I'm serious. I am not being hyperbolic. I'm not just saying shit for the live stream. That is what I genuinely believe.
Okay, well,
And I
it's
think that's
just,
true.
I really don't like Trump and a lot of the things that he's done. It's just the like immigration, and as someone who's been through the legal process and done all the right things, it's not fair that people just get to walk across the border, get handed a cell phone.
So
and a
think about it
court
this
date,
way.
and then
Think about
they
it
never
this way. You're
see them.
referencing the asylum process. So this is a completely different process. But here, think about it this way. Are you saying you don't want conditions to be better for people in the future just because conditions were worse in the past? Because this is the same thing as saying, like the meme of, in order to be able to get to work, had to go in negative 50-degree weather with absolutely only a t-shirt and shorts on, right? Up 3 hills just to be able to get to work every single day in the morning, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's the meme. That's literally the meme. You just did the meme.
That's extreme and unfair circumstances. That's like saying I'm complaining. But I
So
don't think
listen,
that
wait, hold on.
Wait, no, you're not even letting me finish. In any way, I think that everyone else needs to go through the same process, like because it's the right process.
The process of immigration is unjustified, and it takes way too long. Do you agree?
No,
When it takes multiple years long, you don't think that's too long?
why is it too long?
You think multiple years? Okay, so
Yeah, I
if you
did.
wanted it, so if you wanted to immigrate to the country, right? You think that you
I
should?
did immigrate to the country.
Well, okay, sure. So then you're saying that you should have had to wait multiple years.
Yes, that's why it's like you're you keep saying it should be quicker. Like, do you think that the process for adopting a child should be quicker because more children? It'd be better if more children got adopted. Like, it's long for a reason because people need to be vetted thoroughly. Like, yes, it'd be great if more children got adopted.
You understand that it's the reason why it takes so long is not just because of the need for vetting, right? In terms of making sure people are vetted properly, but it's because of certain things that were created in the system to make it take longer unnecessarily.
I do actually remember that first term because that was when like we were coming around to get our green cards and stuff, and then everything got like really slowed down.
The system unnecessarily takes long. It's not. It's like if I agree that we need to do the proper vetting processes, make sure that it is the case that someone hasn't committed a violent crime or bad crime. I agree that we need to do that vetting process. Where we disagree is saying that like where you think that like it needs to take so long for people to be able to get into the country. Because I don't think that it takes that long. I think that you'd have to provide me evidence that it would take that long in order to be able to get to that point. Because I don't think that it requires that given the level of technology that we have today. Especially when, historically speaking, we can go back 30 years ago and we can see it took half as long.
Yeah, and it was also like completely unjust.
I'm serious. It literally took half as long 30 years ago.
Yeah, it took half as long because it was completely unjust.
So you think that the immigration process throughout all of history has been unjustified?
Not unjustified, but
name me a
like,
point in
not
time.
Fair.
Name to me a point in time where it was.
Where it was like not fair?
Where it was fair.
I don't know that I can.
Well, okay. So then what's the point of your statement? We're then just trying to make it as
you
fair
need
as
to
we
try some.
So then
yeah,
we're trying to make it
it
as fair as we possibly can. And the person who was actually trying to make it fair was not Donald Trump. It was Kamala Harris.
Well, it wasn't fair when Biden was president, and
because Republicans didn't want to pass a bipartisan border bill. Because Republicans didn't want to fund faster border legislation.
That was Biden's fault because Republicans didn't want to do it.
I'm not saying it was Biden's fault. I was saying that like we couldn't get people in Congress to go and compromise on something because it is the case that Republicans didn't want to support any policy. And because in the Senate you need 60 votes in order to be able to get past the filibuster, it is the case that we didn't have the necessary votes specifically to be able to get that elected. Right? Even in the circumstances where we'd be able to get up to 51, right? Oftentimes there are even Democrats that specifically won't go far enough on these particular policies. So it's not just a Republican issue. Sometimes it's an issue with certain moderate Democrats.
So then if Harris was elected, how would she change it from what was going on under Biden?
With what?
The unjustness.
So that would be based on Congress. So she would still be advocating for this policy, but it would rely on whenever Congress comes to a compromise specifically on the bill.
So it's not even up to her. So that's why
she would be able to sign it into law given it is the case that it was passed. And there would also be greater incentive specifically for it to be passed, given that the case that she would be the president, as she would have a lot more influence.
Well, I don't know. I saw it was under Biden. It was just like running rampant of all the people undocumented coming into our country and then getting lost in our country. And I know that under Trump, that's not happening.
Okay. So. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about, Arad? Because I've already addressed this multiple times. I would like you to watch back the conversation that we've had, and I think that maybe it would open up your mind.
Fair enough.
Appreciate you coming up.
Nice.
Let's go on to the next person. Only send a guest request if you did vote for Donald Trump. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Linktree in the bio, as well as in the description of the YouTube. If you want to also support me, make sure to like the stream on YouTube. I would really appreciate that. For the people who are on TikTok, we're currently on Dean's account. We're just testing out algorithms. So you can support me through like those sort of areas. But I don't know if I'll be on this account in the future. We'll see. Alrighty. I'd recommend everyone who's on TikTok right now to go over to my YouTube. YouTube is Parker Get a Job. It's also in the link tree in the bio. I would recommend that. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, how old are you?
Late 20s. How old are you?
Did you vote for Donald Trump?
I sure did.
Okay, why so?
What do you think?
Well, I don't know. That's why I asked you.
Who do you vote for?
Kamala Harris.
Why?
because she wasn't held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman. She didn't brag about walking into the changing rooms of girls at Miss TUSA because he quote unquote owns the place to inspect them without their consent. She didn't say she would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years.
So who's Lily Tino? Lily Tino.
What relevance does that have to the live at all? We're talking about Donald Trump. Why'd you just randomly bring up Lily Tino?
Because you brought up Kamala.
We're talking about politics. That's relative.
Okay, continue.
That's relative.
Continue.
That is literally relative to who you voted for. So what?
Do you have kids?
Yeah, I have 10 children.
So really,
Yeah.
do you have kids?
Yes, I have 10 children.
Do you have family that have kids?
Yeah.
Make that make sense. So let me ask you something. The recent videos of Lily.
What do you mean make that make sense? I'm confused. Are you denying the existence of my 10 children?
Make that make sense because you're sarcastic, dumbass.
I'm not being sarcastic. I'm being serious. I literally have 10 children.
Show them 10 children.
I'm not gonna show my children on the live. What the fuck is wrong with you?
How old are you?
How old am I?
How old are you?
I'm 23.
Okay, heard.
I started having children very early.
Okay, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah, I'm completely fine too.
Okay, listen here. I'll actually take your side right now. There's gays, right? I don't have a problem with gays, right? But Lily Tino has taken it to the maximum
I'm sorry.
capacity.
I have a question. Do you know what being gay is?
Yes.
What is it?
Let me see. I have gay friends, right?
What does it mean to be gay?
A guy and a guy and a girl and a girl. And guess what?
Okay.
Gays are born to be born. I was raised.
Gay people.
Listen here. Okay, don't interrupt me. I grew up with a guy.
Don't worry, I didn't interrupt you. I made sure to mute you before I spoke, so I didn't interrupt you. But you may speak now. You got to unmute your mic. In the bottom right, you got to click the mute button, the little microphone in the bottom right.
Derek, can you hear me?
Yeah. What's up?
Okay. So this guy, like, I love gays. Like, nothing's
gay
wrong
people?
with that.
Gay people?
Yeah, gay people. Whatever. Shut up. Let me finish. I went to preschool with this guy, and he was gay. And his older brother was not gay. They pleaded and got this guy into baseball, all that stuff. He ended up being gay. He was still gay. What I'm saying is, on this topic, really randomly, the whole, what do you call it? Switching and transforming yourself and taking your body parts, switching it off is so wrong.
What the hell are we talking? What are we talking? Where are we? What reality are we in? Hello? What did we just move from? We were talking about sexuality, right?
I mean,
someone being gay, and then you just like.
So, do you want to talk about? Let's see. Wait. What do you call it? Hang on a second.
I have a question. Do you think that being gay is being pushed onto children?
People, yes.
Yeah. Okay, how so?
So I saw this video recently on TikTok specifically, and is this chick. She had short hair and baggy clothes, and she said, "Hey, listen, there's this mother that had I'm hearing myself echo right now, which is really annoying, but I don't think we can change that. Anyways, she had
unfortunate.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll get on that. She had a son and a daughter. That daughter questioned that chick and was like, hey, mommy, is that a boy or a girl? She crouched down to her level and said, hey, I'm a girl. I like boy clothes. I'm a tomboy, and it's okay. I'm a girl. I've been born as a girl, and that's okay. And she's like, oh my gosh. She gave her a high five and everything. And she's like, oh, look, mommy.
Wait, I asked you, how is being gay being pushed on children? I'm explicitly referencing sexual attraction. So, like, can you please explain to me how being gay is being pushed onto children?
Society.
Society? Oh,
Yeah.
how so? Like, what about society?
Bullying.
What bullying? You mean bullying against?
Sucking up to,
you mean people who are gay
being
getting
in a
bullied?
tribe. So let me ask you something. Were you ever
Wait,
bullied in life?
Yes, but
No.
Yes.
Were you ever bullied?
Yes.
Okay, I was bullied too.
Were you bullied?
I was bullied too.
Wait, are you saying people are bullied into being gay?
I wouldn't say that necessarily. No.
No.
Why?
People are bullied into being straight. So I don't know what your point is.
Bullying and to be straight. Okay, so I believe in my deal. I don't know. Are you a Christian? Can I ask you that?
I'm not a Christian.
So what are you?
I'm an agnostic atheist.
Well, God is good all the time, and I really pray for you right now. But I'll get to this in a second. So what's your next question?
What were we just talking about?
I don't know. You tell me.
Fuck is going on? When I clicked live, you're talking about how you went to preschool with somebody that was gay, and I don't even okay.
Okay, ask me a question.
In like 2 sentences or less, sum up the relevance of gay people in your argument insofar as why you support Trump.
So I don't dislike gay people. I like gay people. If you're gay, you're gay. Like, don't fucking be pressing that shit on innocent children.
Okay, how are they doing that?
Do you not get that?
Yeah, how are they doing that?
So this Tino,
explain it to us.
Listen here. Stop.
No.
Stop.
Explain it to us like
you
we're
had your
5.
Second. Okay, I'll explain this like you're 5. If you saw this fucking video, you'd know. I'm going to say it very calmly and shortly. Okay. Hang on a second. I got to get my composure together because I'm really fucking pissed off because I have a child. So let me get this straight.
Explain it to us like we're 5. Take it away.
Okay. God is good all the time. If you're born a girl, you are a girl. If you're born a boy,
I'm sorry.
You're born.
User.
No.
This
let
is
me
not
continue.
sexuality. This is not sexuality.
No.
Honestly, like
okay,
obviously she's not talking about
You're interrupting
sexuality,
me.
but it's like
You're
let's just see
interrupting
what the
me.
point is, you know what I mean?
Let me continue.
No, please continue.
Do I need to continue? Okay.
No, please.
Listen, and think deep. I really pray. If you're born a boy, you're born a boy. If you're born a girl, you're born a girl. If you want to be gay, you could be fucking gay, by all means. If you want to be like a lesbian, be a lesbian. If you like women, that's okay. If you want to be gay, like a guy. It's okay. I don't see the whole transform deal with this Lily Tino because look at all the research. Tell me, the people that cut off their, you know what?
Okay.
Or if they transform, it does a lot of shit when you're 18 and plus. No,
you said Lily Tino.
I wasn't done yet.
No, you've said Lily Tino like 5 times. Why the fuck do you keep saying Lily Tino's name?
Because it's disgusting. She. Oh, she.
Yeah,
no, it's a he.
She.
Went
So,
into the
hold up,
women's restroom. Okay, listen here.
Hold up. Okay, did my okay, that was her just got cut out. Okay. So again, when you're referencing being gay, I want to be very clear. I appreciate the glowing jellyfish. Thank you so much. You're referencing men who are attracted to men, right? Is that what you're referencing?
And then I also just wanted to bring this up real quick while they're on pause. Obviously this person is misgendering Lily Tino. I do see some people on the left do that too, just because like a lot of people perceive Lily Tino to be a shit person. Now, like correctly gendering somebody isn't like a reward for good behavior. So even if you like think that Lily Tino's a shit person, still like address her by her proper pronouns.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear me? Both of you.
We hear you now.
Okay, yeah, thanks. So he, she, whatever, anyone who has kids, shut up. Let me finish. Let me finish.
No. You're gonna use your correct pronouns. Point blank period. Unmute your mic, and if you don't, I'll mute you until you do. Unmute your mic. Come on, user. Aaron, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. You gonna unmute your mic, user? Are you there?
Hello.
Yeah. What's up?
Okay. So tell me what's the proper pronouns for Lily.
She, her. But
She,
listen,
her.
Will you give me the mic for 30 seconds here,
Yes,
if you will? So the question that Parker had asked of you is, how are people pressing being gay onto young children?
Correct.
Lily, Tino, and trans people shouldn't have any relevance in the answer to that question. Now, a lot of people will confuse trans people and gay people that just
Okay.
simply lack.
Stop.
No.
I'll let you finish, and you'll let me talk because I'm really pissed
Well,
off.
if you gotta
I'll let
let me
you finish.
Okay. thank you.
Finish.
Thank you. So
Absolutely.
a lot
My
of
pleasure.
People, a lot of people with no critical thought and zero education on the LGBTQ plus community will
Okay.
confuse trans people and gay people simply because they exist under the same umbrella LGBTQ plus community. However,
Okay.
being trans bears no relevance on being gay, and being gay bears no relevance on being trans.
Okay.
For instance, you could be trans and straight. You could be trans and gay.
Sure.
You could be
Sure.
straight and cis. You could be gay and cis. Right? So
this
the question
is
asked of you is, why do you think that being gay is pressed
Okay.
on young children?
Okay. Listen. This is my time to shine. Okay. You can be gay.
I'm sorry. I had to do it. I just had to, Chad. I just had to. You gotta unmute now, user.
The corn dog deal. Hello.
Go ahead.
Okay, you're still here.
Sorry, that was the last time. I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm done. I'm actually done now. I promise I'm done. I promise I'm done. Randy, thank you for the $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Randy. User, you gotta unmute. I that was my last time. I'm serious. I won't do it anymore. I'm seriously done. Hello? Are you gonna unmute? You gotta unmute. You gotta click the microphone in the bottom right. Oh, they left. Fuck. I got him to leave. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate, I tell you. That's really unfortunate. Coral, thank you for the $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Happy Pride, everyone. Absolutely. Happy Pride. Happy Pride. Absolutely. Beth, thank you for the $50. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Absolutely. I appreciate it, Beth. Thank you for the $50. Thank you so much. Amber with the $10. Thank you so much for Trinity. Parker's #1 fan. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. From Tony on TikTok. Thank you so much. Ember, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Ember. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. As well as Ember, thank you for the $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. As well as Reagan, thank you for the $5. And Mark, thank you for the $10. Dean, are you free or did you just come because that person was saying some crazy stuff?
I actually got a little bit. Is it okay if I hang
Yeah,
out?
absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Weird.
Let's get this next person up here real quick. Tap that screen, everyone. Share the live. If you're on YouTube, to make sure to like the stream. We got Dean for a little bit longer here. Penny, thank you for the $2. Thank you. Thank you. Yo, what's up, how to you? Rick, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Oh
I
boy.
sure did.
Why'd you do that, sir?
Oh boy.
Well, I did have a lot to say, but I got to be honest with you. After what I just heard from her, I fucking love watching you guys fucking squirm like babies. Because now you know exactly how you fucking sound when you talk to people.
Oh, Rick. Listen, Rick, I got a level
Fuck
with it
you,
now.
pussy
No.
boy.
No, Rick.
You're
please.
both pussy boys. Where's your little butt buddy fucking Harry?
Okay,
Yeah,
yo, hold
fucking
on. Rick,
raping some bitches.
Rick, hold up. Can I ask you a question, Rick?
No.
Why not?
I don't. I just want to tell you how fucking stupid
Rick,
you are.
Rick, do you think I'm a grifter?
You gotta.
Do you think I have
Why
a real
don't you
job?
watch your own video and see how fucking
Hey,
stupid
Rick,
you are.
do you think I have a real job, Rick?
You're a dumb motherfucker.
Do I have a real
Rick,
job?
please. Wait,
No,
Rick,
you
don't
don't.
run away like a beta male. I'm sensing that
Oh,
you're
I'm not running away. I'm here.
I'm sensing
I'm
beta
here.
male. I'm sensing beta male, and that you're gonna run away here pretty soon. So
No,
you better
not a
stay
beta
to
male,
prove
not
that you're
at
not
all.
a beta male.
Just,
Okay.
Just tired of listening to you guys fucking just endlessly lie
Rick,
about shit.
can
What did we
I
lie?
level with you?
What did we lie about?
Every fucking thing that
Like
comes
what?
out of your mouth is bullshit.
Like what?
Everything. What part of everything don't you understand?
On Venmo. Can we get some W?
Yeah, why don't
Down
you come
below the
visit me and we'll see how bad you really
Brian,
are.
thank you for $2 for money from Rick.
Yeah, go
Donation
get
over
Harry, Mr.
Chaos,
Boxer
thank you for
Boy.
the $2
I'll
for
kick
love the
his
stream
ass
so
too.
far. Thank you so much, Chaos. I appreciate it.
Go
Thank you.
Go get the pussies.
What are you saying, bro? You're so
Come
weird.
on, pussies.
What are you saying, bro?
You're a little fucking baby. That's what you are.
Okay, well, I have a question. If
You're
I'm
a cureless fucking baby.
Wait, if I'm a baby, well then did
You
Donald
don't know jack
wait, I have a
shit.
question. If I'm a baby, did Donald Trump try to date a baby when he said he would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years?
Couldn't tell you.
Wait, real quick. Yo, you said that I was like a what kind of baby did you say I was, Rick?
You're a little pussy baby.
You're a hairless baby.
Pussy
Bald.
baby.
You're bald, Rick.
That's right.
You're bald,
And
Rick.
I've been on this earth a hell of a lot longer than your pussy ass will be.
Hairless baby. Hairless baby. Rick.
Chad, YouTube. Oh my god, I wish I could show you right now. Come on, please, bro.
Why don't you come out of mommy's basement and meet me somewhere?
Please, Chad, I gotta show you. Oh my god, hold up. I have window
Yeah.
capture right now. Don't worry. I have window capture, Chad.
60-year-old man beat your fucking living ass to death.
Please,
Yo,
please. Would you just threaten to violently assault him?
Oh wait, are
me.
you trying to like
Meet me.
Where?
Rick, calm down, bro.
What part of that don't you understand there, smart boy?
What? Calm the
Obviously,
fuck. Okay,
you don't
Rick,
understand any of it.
Rick, can I level with you, man?
Dumbass.
No, calm down, old man. Okay, listen.
No.
Real quick. Okay, here's what I'm asking of you, Rick.
No, I've
I'm-
listened to you
I'm
dumb
gonna
motherfuckers
level.
for way too long.
I'm gonna level with you here, Rick. Here's what I don't get.
What you want?
Oh, bad boy.
You're a
Rick.
pussy.
Bad bald boy. Bad boy. Come
Why
on.
don't you
calm
come
down.
find out?
Here, hold up.
Because
Rick,
you're a chicken shit.
Rick, I have a question. Rick, I have a question. Can I ask you a few
No.
questions?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, like, you said that like we don't have real jobs. Like, what do you think a real job is, Rick?
You don't have a real job because you get paid to sit and fucking lie by the fucking DNC. We all know it.
Wait,
We've
dear
seen
God.
it.
So I'm paid by the DNC. Isn't that a job?
What
Would
about
you,
me?
Why would
Am
you
I also
still be
paid by the
sitting there
DNC?
doing it if you weren't?
Wait, so I have a job at the
'Cause you're a
DNC where I
fucking
get paid
moron.
and then I don't have a job at the same time?
No, that's not really a job.
How's it
Try
not a job?
actually
What is a
working for
job?
living.
What is a job, Rick?
Not that.
Not that.
Okay, so what is
You
it?
go
Can you
to a
define it?
place of business, you do a task, and
Oh,
you receive
wait.
a paycheck.
Wait,
Oh, that's
Rick,
exactly
You're
what we're
sitting in
doing.
Grammy's basement.
That's it.
Rick,
Oh, wait,
let me-
this
let
is my
me-
office. I'm currently
You're
in my
sitting
office right now.
Grammy's basement.
Wait,
Yeah,
I'm
Rick, I
currently
wanna
in my
say-
own
Little-
office right
Little
now.
pussies in Grammy's
I
basement.
want to show Rick something real quick.
Did she bring you a juice box?
Rick, I gotta talk to you real quick, man. You said that
All
a
you
job.
do is go
Oh.
fucking try to tear people down, make yourself feel better about yourself.
Rick,
Isn't that what you're doing right now?
let me
No,
talk to you.
I'm
real
not.
quick. Rick,
I already know what you are.
Rick, listen.
I've seen
to me.
motherfuckers like you my entire life.
Baby, please.
You don't last long. Trust me.
Oh, well, that's what your wife said to you.
Yeah, I don't have a wife. I've
Surprising.
never gotten married. I don't want
Surprising,
to.
surprising, very
I don't
surprising.
want
I
to.
tell you, very surprising. Said every woman ever in your life. Then I got you there, buddy.
Just like you got 10 kids, you lying fuck.
I do have 10 children. Well, you're
you
denying the
don't.
existence. You are denying
you
the existence.
don't.
How dare you deny the existence
You're so
of my
fucking
10 children? My 10
You're a
children.
lying
I
fuck.
put them on this planet, and I will keep them here, and I will
Put
take care
them
of
on
them
your
every
list
single
of
day.
fucking
I take care of my 10 children. How dare you deny the existence of my 10 children? Don't you ever do
You're a
that
fucking
again.
liar.
They
You
are
don't
real
have kids.
human beings with lives, experiences,
Nobody be
dignity,
fucking stupid
and the
enough to
fact
have
that you
kids
sit
with
here right
you.
now and you deny the existence
Pussy.
of my 10
Pussy.
children is absolutely disgusting and despicable of you.
Pussy.
How fucking
Grandma
dare
gave
you
me a juice box.
treat my
Pussy
10 children
box.
with that level of
Bring me
disrespect?
some Oreos. You little you need a juice
Oh,
box.
use a slur. Get the fuck off my live. Get the fuck
You're
off my live. Get the fuck off my live, you disgusting piece of shit. Happy Pride Month to everyone, by the way. That disgusting piece of shit is absolutely a horrible person and does not deserve our time of fucking day. That is disgusting. Holy shit. He denies the existence of my 10 children. How fucking dare he? How fucking dare he? Let me say thank you to a few gifters real quick. Thank you so much. Brian, I appreciate the $2. Thank you. Sid with the $20. Thank you so much. Coral with the $20. Thank you so much. Randy, thank you for the $20. Penny with the $2. Chaos, thank you for the $2. I really appreciate it. Julia with the $2. Canadian, thank you. Hyped, I appreciate the $10. Thank you so much, Hyped. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Juliet, thank you so much for the $2. Stacy with the $11.11. Thank you. Lauren with the $26. Thank you so much on PayPal. Reagan, thank you for the $5. I appreciate it. Darling with the $1. Megan with the $2. Amber with the $7.25 for the DNC paycheck for 1 hour. Angolia, thank you so much. I appreciate the $10. Thank you so much. Keith with the $1. I appreciate it. Thank you. Beth with the $50. Thank you so much again. I really appreciate it, Beth. Thank you. Gianna, thank you so much for the $25. Thank you so much, Gianna. Nisi, thank you so much. I appreciate the $3. Mark with the $10. Thank you so much. And with the $20. Thank you so much, Mark. Benjamin with the $5. And Michaela, thank you for the $1.75. Thank you so much. Holy shit.
I posted a dinner of the ribeye I cooked for dinner. I posted a picture of the ribeye I cooked for dinner on X, and I have a bunch of really angry old Republican men, probably a lot like Rick, saying that I staged the post to pander to Republican men. How do you feel about this?
That's kind of funny, dude. That's really funny, actually. I think that's completely ridiculous. Yeah, it's actually insane. Actually, you did that on live though. You literally literally made it on live before, so
it was all staged. Anna, thank you for the $10 Venmo donation for showing Rick's bald head.
That was diabolical, dude. Lindsay, thank you for the $5.
Listen,
Gabby, thank you so much. I appreciate the $10.
I could
Thank
do
you.
that. I could do that since it's my own future. Okay, I'm destined for a bald head. Okay, it's coming at me.
Yeah, you can
very
do that.
fast, and it's bound to happen. That will be me one day, Chad. It will be me. Unfortunately.
TJ with the $5. Thank you. Gabby, thank you for the $10 though. They said early Father's Day for Parker's 10 children. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Erica, thank you for the $2. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, how dare he deny the existence of my 10 children? Seriously, I will never allow that again on my life. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 24.
Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, why so?
So let's not beat around the bush. You're gonna say I voted for Donald Trump and he was a bad person and stuff, and I agree that SA is bad, even though you're saying that he raped when not all SA is rape. It's two different things.
Wait. Do you think forceful penetration of a woman's vagina against her will is rape?
Yeah.
Okay, well then that was forceful penetration of a woman's vagina against her will, so you acknowledge that it was rape.
I don't think that's what happened.
That's exactly what happened in the case.
Well, that's not what it was found out in court. That's not what it was found in court.
Actually, yes. So Brendan, let me clarify.
So why isn't he in jail?
Brendan, if I could clarify for you, that'd be great. So the specific action that the jury determined that Donald Trump was more likely than not to have done to E. Jean Carroll was forcefully inserting his fingers into her female member without her consent. Now, the reason why the court did not consider this to be grape, but rather classified it as SA, was because of New York State's very outdated and terrible definition of grape that they upheld in their legal standards, which only considered the penetration of one's female member with a male member without consent to be rape. Now, both you and I and Parker have all now agreed that we do indeed colloquially understand the action in which the jury found Donald Trump liable for doing to E. Jean Carroll as grape. So will you concede that when you said it wasn't grape that the jury held him liable for, you were wrong?
Okay, well, maybe you're right. He did. Either way, it's wrong. That's what I believe.
So then would you vote for a candidate held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman?
Well, what I was going to ask you is, would you vote for a candidate that believes segregation is okay?
So one, Biden didn't advocate for segregation in the quote that you're specifically referencing. He was actually advocating for integration. But no, given that the other side doesn't support that.
I don't want my kids to go to a jungle, a racial jungle, is what he said.
So
Is that not
actually,
supporting segregation?
so although I think how the way he said it was definitely incredibly fucked up, right? I think that we can acknowledge explicitly that in that context, he was explicitly advocating, right, that we integrate communities, so there are integrated school systems, right? That's explicitly what he was advocating for, and he was in that circumstance trying to say that it is the case that like there would be a system where you would have segregated communities while having integrated school systems, and he was saying in that circumstance there would be an issue.
Also, Brendan, like seemingly, because like your first argument joining the live is, you know, condemning Biden for racism, which, by the way, I agree with. I think that we should condemn all racist individuals for their racism. This would mean that you care about racism. So I guess my question to you would be, if you care about racism, how come you voted for a man who's on record calling all black people lazy in the 90s, as well as in the late aughts and early 10s, trying to convince people to not vote for Obama because he's black, by saying that must mean he was born in Africa?
Well, this is honestly a touchy topic to talk about, honestly. But well, because I'm white and you're white, so. But I believe what he said was the community can be lazy, and that has been true in the past.
Okay,
But
get the fuck off my live, dude. He actually. I just want to be clear. He said black people have a trait of laziness. Okay, that is so fucking weird. That is so fucking weird. Jessica, thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo. Thank you so much, Jessica. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kayla,
I'm going to
thank
go
you
and hop
$2.
off for the night.
All right, have a good night, man.
Of course, everybody watching, have a good rest of y'all's evenings. Peace out.
Appreciate you, man. Alrighty.